is an international speaker and a strategic networking coach and a trainer. With over 10 years of experience in the field of business networking, he has coached and trained individuals all around the world. His journey with networking began with setting up a business networking platform in Gurgaon. As an international trainer and coach, he is trusted by corporates like HSBC, Genpact, Australia Trade Commission, and many more. He believes that by becoming better networkers, we don't just grow in our business or our career, but also as a human being. I have with me Coach Paritosh Pathak. So are you ready to get coached? Thank you so much, Paritosh, for being here. We are absolutely thrilled to have you on this platform in the Get Coach series. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samira. It's a pleasure to be here. I've known you for some time, and seeing you the way you believe in your work and everything, I'm always inspired, and I truly believe it's a privilege to be on this series with you, and the invitation is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and make sure that all the people who are watching us are getting brilliant insights and value out of our session and discussion.
Game on. Yeah.
But I do want to start with one very important question. How did your journey of becoming a networking coach start? How did that happen?
So let me give you the shorter version of a story that conspired over a few years. I was working with KPMG in the part of forensic services division, you know, the geeky kind of people writing code, hacking machines all the time. Doing that when I accidentally attended a BNI meeting. BNI is a business networking platform, very, very popular around the world. The national director of that platform is a friend of mine, a gentleman called Enrich. He's also no longer there with BNI now. But I asked him that I wanted to go and see that meeting without actually understanding what it was. Went and saw, and in that meeting, just a switch went on. So a guy who did not understand networking, who by that time did not even have a LinkedIn profile, yeah. In just an hour and a half, the entire networking started making sense to him. Now, fast forward a couple of months, I fought with Enrich to buy the franchise. He wasn't willing to give it to me because I was an entrepreneur. So I fought with him, bought it, underwent 363 rejections to get the first client, set up the franchise, launched 4 chapters, and then got fired from BNI.
Okay.
Yeah. You know how life is always trying to lead you. I always believe that life is trying to lead us, and it is we who come in the way. So at that point in time, good sense prevailed. When I was asked to leave, I just left without creating a ruckus, and always maintained my respect for the platform, for the people, everything. And from there, I had to question, when I was let go, I had to question, what am I going to do now? Because after 3-4 years, going back to an IT job is not a viable option because you get old in a couple of months. So 4 years is a long time. So I had to decide what to do. Then at that point in time, I thought that even at the platform, business networking platform, I would see people constantly make mistakes. They would network the wrong way. So I used to think that one day I would start a training and teach people how to network at a networking platform. Right. So when I was let go, I had to do something. I had to pay bills. So decided to become a trainer. Becoming a trainer was never on the cards. It was never on the radar. It was never a priority. Right. At that 10 years ago, I had somebody told me that you're going to be a trainer and coach. That too in a field that nobody in the country is doing. I would have laughed it off. Yeah. So I got into it out of a necessity that I have to make money. But then, as I started to do this, I started to see that I've really understood this at a really amazing level. Mm. And I started to create trainings, programs, started to train people. At first, I was dealing with a lot of not good enough. Right? You know, who am I to train people? What experience do I have? But then when results started to come, and no matter how so-called big of a person I was dealing with, they were all getting results. I started finally to figure out maybe there is something here. Maybe there's something about me that I did not know, which is again true for a lot of us out there. Mm. So I finally surrendered to it after 1 or 2 years, and I decided that I'm just going to let life take me.
Hmm.
And thank God I did that. I've never looked back since then.
Hmm.
It's been an amazing journey. So it's a journey that I never intended to take.
Right.
It's a journey of surrenderance. It's a journey of courage. It's a journey of fear. It's a journey of struggle, and then eventually success.
Sure. Sure. So is networking really important?
Yeah. Well, let me put it this way. Dale Carnegie, in his book How to Win Friends and Influence People, has mentioned that the Carnegie Institute did a research which was again verified because the results were so astonishing. And in that research, Carnegie says that 85% of our financial success depends upon our ability to work with human beings.
Sure.
85%. And only 15% depends upon how good we are at what we do. So if 85% of our financial success depends upon being able to work with human beings, networking is very important. A lot more, way, way more than what we have imagined. Think about it. We're making buying decisions based on people we like, right? How we feel about people. We hire people based on how we feel about them, right? People decide to get married based on how they feel about people. We're human beings. We have to work with human beings. I joke about this, that if your work involves working with human beings, networking is non-negotiable. And that brings us to a very interesting conversation, Samira. A lot of people believe that networking is only about going and getting business.
Yeah, I was coming to that.
Yes, I know. Yeah, the question just led it there. You had asked a very good question, very smartly asked. Right, so a lot of people believe that networking is just about getting business, and that's where they're wrong. Right, when I'm working with my team, when I'm leading people, the principles of networking do not change. Right, when I am making friends, the principles of networking do not change. When I'm socializing, the principles of networking do not change. Right, so it is affecting every single area of our life. In fact, today, I believe that the principles of networking even affect how we govern our relationships inside our home. With our spouse, with our parents, with our sibling. The principles are the same. And the stronger our grip is on those principles, the better those relationships are going to be. Business is always the outcome, right? There's nothing under the sun, Samira, that we can do to get business. If you tell me, Paritosh, go to advertising, there are 5 things I can do. If you tell me, go to social media marketing, there are 10 things I can do. And if you say, go to sales, there are 10 things again. Go to networking, there are 10 things again. But if you tell me, go get business, there's no direct action. I'll have to do one of these things. Right? So what that means is that business is always an outcome of what we're doing. Right? And thinking that networking is about business is just a very false idea, because we can do networking, and as a result of that when we do networking right, business may flow in.
Yeah.
Which is again true with sales, which is again true with marketing.
Right. Yeah. Very well said and very well explained. So in simple terms, should I say, or can I say, that networking is equal to relationship building and management?
All right. So if you have to ask me what is networking equal to, Samir, I would say that networking is equal to your net working for you. Right? Your network working for you. Right? It's right there. The answer is right there. It's been all along in front of our eyes. We've just not caught on to it. Networking. The word itself tells you what it is. The moment your network starts to care for you and carry you along, starts to open doors for you, starts to give you referrals, create opportunities, right? The moment that starts to happen, you're networking. Now, business is one aspect of it. We rely on our networking when we get into an accident and we need some help, right? That could be help with lawyers, it could be help with cops. We rely on our network when somebody in our family is not well and we need to be referred to a good doctor, right? That's network again. We rely on a network when we have to buy a laptop. We send a message, guys, which one do you recommend? We reach out to people to seek advice, right? So it's affecting every single area of our life. There's not a single area that we experience that is not affected by the quality of relationships that we're keeping around us.
Wow, that is such a profound thing to say. Such simple way of explaining what networking is all about. Is your net working for you? And this net is those people who are in your life, are connected with you, and that's the net you're talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant. So, how does networking make people better? Because in your bio, I read that
Yes.
it not just gets you the business, it
Right.
also helps you become better individuals or better human being. How does that work?
Okay, so you've asked me this question. I'll have to give you a crash course of my 1-year program. Okay, to get ready, put your seatbelts on. Right. So look at this. The reason people struggle with networking is because they look at networking as one thing: going, meeting people, and getting something. That's the view, right? But in reality, networking has 3 sub elements to it. First one is the skill. Second one is the system, and third one is the strategy. Right. Let's talk about skill. The question that you've asked pertains to the skill. Skill is my ability to build relationships with people. But what a lot of us don't understand is that before I can go and build a relationship with someone else, I have to build a relationship with myself.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a lot of time to understand that there's something called relationship with self. Mm-hmm. Right? What's happening is a lot of people are dealing with the fears, right? There's one of the biggest fears in networking is the fear of rejection. If I approach this person, what will this person say? Right? And then there's fear of no return. Why should I put time on this person, right? So what's happening is these fears are coming from inner incompletions, inner insecurities. So when we're training people to become better networkers, first we train them on becoming a better person with whom somebody else would want to network, right? Rather than just straight away telling them, this is how you give cards, this is how you introduce yourself, this is how you have conversations. We first say, hold on. Are you even the person that somebody else would want to talk to? Are you worthy of someone's time? Right? And to help create that, we have to help people remove those fears and insecurities. So many of us, and I've dealt with this for so many years, I can't even tell you, are dealing with this not good enough, right? I'm not rich enough, I'm not successful enough, I'm not big enough, I don't have a big enough house, I don't have a big enough car, right? I can't talk well, I don't look good, right? But we're carrying so much of this subconscious and unconscious conversation with us, and it's affecting everything that we're doing out there. So before I help someone master the techniques of networking, I have to help people peel these layers off. And in peeling these layers off, what happens is people start to become more understanding, more compassionate towards themselves. And when they start to do that to them, they're able to do that to other people. Right? And for us, the philosophy of networking lies in giving, not getting. Right? So our philosophy of networking is reverse. Now, one, I am becoming a more kinder person to myself and then to people around me, and then I'm giving more. As a resultant, what's happening is I am becoming a better individual, and the more people that are becoming networkers in the real context, you're actually contributing and making this world a better place. So till date, let's say I have trained close to 300 and maybe 500 people, I don't remember the exact number, that have undergone my annual program, right? And so if these people have mastered that the success lies in giving. Giving is living. They've understood that. And these are a good majority of these people are the kind of people that now they'll meet you in the flight and they will try and help you without expecting anything back. Right? So I'm proud of the fact that there's so many people out there now who are trying to give rather than trying to get. In doing so, becoming a stronger version of themselves.
Sure.
And making this world a better place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Doing such amazing job. You're doing such a wonderful job helping people love themselves, realize who they are, and appreciate themselves so they can appreciate other people. So, the whole concept of networking being, just going to a seminar or a conference and say, well, can I get your card? And, I do this. So networking is actually not that. Networking
it's not.
Is asking as to what you do and how can I help and, what can I give to you rather than saying, I do this, would you like it?
Yeah, right. So I call this lead with your character, right? When I bring my card out and I give you my card and I say, hi, I'm Paritosh Pathak, I'm a strategic networking coach and blah, 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 my elevator pitch. What I'm doing is I'm leading with my competence, right? Being a networking coach is my competence, right? And the moment I lead with my competence, your barrier comes up and you're like, okay, now this guy's going to sell to me. So you start getting defensive. Oh, you want my money? I'm not going to give it to you, right? But the moment I keep my card in, and instead of leading with my competence, I lead with my character, right? As a human being. And leading with character means a human being honoring another human being in front of him or her.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And the key word is honoring, right? So the moment I start honoring you, your barriers go down, you start to like me. And when you like me, business flows, right? And the amazing thing is that so many times, Samira, this has happened. I've met people, just had great conversations. They have not bought anything from me till date, but they've constantly referred me again and again and again and again to their network. And that is my network working for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
All I have to do is not sell.
Yeah.
Treat the person in front of me as a person, not as a prospect.
Sure.
Right? Just be interested in the other person's journey, and see what I can do for other person, and the magic unfolds.
Yep. So at this time, I'm not going to leave you. I want 3 of your greatest ideas that you can share with our audience and viewers, which they can use to become better networkers and better individuals.
Cool. So number 1, start talking to yourself. Right? It's very, very important. I just did a webinar yesterday where I brought this conversation up, that we are becoming over-reliant on trainers and coaches. And I'm saying this as a trainer and coach, right? And I'm not saying don't rely on trainers and coaches. But what I'm saying is, when we start talking to ourselves, when we start asking ourselves, what's going on? Why my life is not working the way it is working? We start asking that question ourselves. We start to gain that clarity of why things might not be working. And when we go to get help with that clarity, the result comes a lot faster, right? So it's very important that we start talking to ourselves, start tapping into our inner genius.
Mm-hmm.
And once we start tapping into that inner genius, we start to ask the right questions, and then we go and seek answers. And many of the questions get answered on their own. Okay, so start doing that. Remember that there's a lot more power inside of us. We do not have to be a product of our circumstances, of our events, of our failures, of our rejections. None of that. We are who we choose to believe, right? This is the core of no matter what I'm training anybody on, right? If you got to believe in the power of you, because you have that power, right? So number 1, if you can call it tip number 1, right? Tip number 2, have a very clear goal in life, right? Because a lot of people are operating goalless, dishaheen, right? What's happening is that because we don't have a clear goal, the meaning that we give to things in life changes. Right? For someone who's got a really big goal, this phase of Corona is not going to bother that person, because what that person is trying to achieve is already too huge, and that person knows there are going to be 1,000 other challenges like this, so this one is not going to bother. So have a clarity of goal, because till the time we're not clear of our goal, we can't network. If I speak in the context of networking, so if someone says, can you help me become better at networking, I'm always asking why. Why do you want to become better at networking? What are you trying to achieve? Right? So if you're just trying to achieve money, it's not going to happen. But if you're trying to achieve with money, you're trying to achieve other things, you're trying to create impact, that becomes a lot more powerful, right? And this is where the conversation of lead with your character comes in, because when you have that clarity, it shows.
Yeah.
Right. And finally, start paying attention to networking. Your life is being defined by it, right? I am saying this. Dale Carnegie has said this. Go pick up his book, right? Look for that page where it talks about 85%, right? This is one of the most non-negotiable skill that we need in our life to succeed in our personal relationships, to succeed in our professional relationships. And remember, it's not transactional. It's not a transactional skill. The transaction is the outcome. Right? It's about building a network of genuine, authentic relationships, a network that loves you, respects you, and wants to work for you. So start building this up sooner than later.
Great. These are so insightful. So your first step is start talking to yourself.
Yeah.
And discover your inner genius, right? Tip number 2, have a clear goal in life.
Yes.
Have a goal, you should know where you're going. And tip number 3 is build a network of genius relationships sooner than later.
Yeah, genuine relationships, yes.
Genuine relationships.
Yes.
And these 3 tips, I am sure, are so simple, so bang on, and so important that everyone who's watching and hearing us can easily take and start working on it. And I want to tell everybody that if you are unable to do it yourself, you have people that you can ask for help from.
Yes, absolutely.
But these are simple tips, and please start working on it. Start talking to yourself, have a clear goal, and build a network of genuine relationships. Be the giver. Don't just get and ask, but be a giver to create relationships.
Yes. Giving is living, absolutely.
Giving is living. Thank you so much. I'll take that as the 4th tip. Thank you so much for being
My
here,
pleasure.
Paritosh. It was a pleasure. Thank you for sharing so much insight about yourself and about networking.
Absolutely my pleasure, Samira. And thank you so much for the kind and amazing opportunity. I want to say that I really enjoyed having this conversation. There are a lot of interviews that I'm doing these days, but this didn't even feel like one. It was like just, you and I sitting across and having a conversation. And these are the ones that I value the most because they're unprepared, they're unrehearsed, and they're completely authentic.
Yeah.
Right? So thank you for holding this amazing space. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. So grateful to you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Same to you, my dear.